I watched you working and I was so intrigued. I was like, what's she doing over there? Because you would get somebody to record a video and then like this whole subgroup of people would cheer like crazy and celebrate. And like as I watched you work, you were giving people these like names. It seems like you have come up with like these categories and stuff like that. So can you walk me through this process of charisma hacking and what, like as I watched you teaching people how to get better on video, what were you calling them? Like what were you were giving them names and stuff like that? Can you tell me about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have a process called charisma styles. And what your charisma style is, you and every single person on the face of the planet is one of 54 different combinations of charisma styles. It makes up who you are as a person. And it is the thing that makes people pay attention to you, trust you, and do what you say. So the way that we created this charisma styles program is I charisma hacked 1,000 people. I went on Clubhouse. I did it with 500 people there. I, interviewed 100 funnel hackers in a very specific entrepreneurial community. And I asked myself what gives them the ability to get people to pay attention to them, trust them, and do what they say. And then, we did it what we call bottom up instead of top down. I didn't think of categories that people could fit into and then place them in those categories, but we said, what are all of the possible ways that people are doing this? And then we fed it into what's called a K-cluster analysis. And we literally, with science and math, came up with these categories that people were clumping into. So these charisma styles, there's one thing that's called the score, and this is how good you are at it, but the styles are actually how you do it. So it's how you get people to pay attention to you, right? There are 6 different entertainment styles that you can use or that you do use in your real life to get people to pay attention to you. One of them is right for you and the others sabotage you and don't work for you. There's 3 ways, we call it compassion. There's 3 ways to get people to trust you. One of them works for you, the others are sabotaging you. And there's 3 different ways to get people to act. One of them is right for you, the others are wrong for you. The thing that we found is the thing that sabotages people on video is using the wrong charisma styles. And there's a lot of different reasons why people do this. They use the wrong charisma styles because somebody has told them, we call it a two-face, that they're too much of something, or that they're trying to compensate for something, right? There's other people who are trying to model people that they shouldn't model because they've heard that that's the best way to success is modeling people who are successful, which I agree with if you model the right people. But charismatically, if you're modeling somebody who doesn't have your same charisma styles, it actually can shoot you in the foot and it can really sabotage you. And then we talked about, sales scripts, and a lot of people use sales scripts from people, and it will be crazy successful for the person that gave you the script, but then it won't work for you, even though it's working for other people in the program. And the reason for that is because you don't have the same authority style as them. And you have to phrase things differently, right? So we broke this down. And like you said, like what names was I giving them? On site at this awesome event that we both spoke at, shout out Krista Mayshore, she's incredible. But at this event, the cool thing is this categorization process, giving people their charisma styles, just opens up their eyes to the specific tools that they actually use in their real life and the tools that they should be using on video. And then I would show them and I'd be like, oh, you are pulling to this two-face. You are trying to compensate by trying to be like this person when you're not like that person. You should try to be like this person. So we have 12 different charisma styles, like I said, 54 different combinations between them, and each person has that unique combination of 54 things, and then they have those false faces that they pull to. So I was giving them their charisma styles and I was saying, you are this, and as soon as I would tell them, they're like, oh, I see. And when I would tell them what their false faces were, the faces that they were not supposed to use, they would be like, oh yeah, somebody has told me that I'm too aggressive, so I try to make myself smaller. You're right? It's just this really quick way to categorize people that helps them improve in actually a systematic way, instead of just being like, well, be more yourself or have more energy or all of those things that actually don't work. They actually don't move people to acting or converting or trusting you. They may get people's attention, but it's the wrong kind of attention, and then it turns them off.
That is incredible. I would imagine that gives somebody so much more confidence. Real estate agents, we do a ton around video content. It's one of the core principles of what we teach, specific to dynamic remarketing. So a lot of times we're teaching an agent how to take video content that they're creating and then strategically target market that to a buyer lead or a seller lead to ultimately convert them into becoming a client or customer. Most of the agents that we work with are very timid at first. They're very shy of the camera. They've got a lot of fear, anxiety built up around this. And it sounds like what you're saying, really can help them solve that by helping them gain more understanding of who they should be and what they should sound like and how they can maybe possibly feel like whenever they're creating that video content. It sounds like it's so valuable.
Marketing teaches us that we have to go, in advertising especially, that we have to go where the attention is. People ask me nonstop if Facebook is the right place for them to advertise their business. And my first response is always, I don't know. Who is your ideal customer? And that should be how you answer most of your questions about marketing and advertising. I would never advocate for somebody to, let's say, do print ads. But if she asked me where to do print, I would probably say at the golf shop, right? Or at the marinas. Did you all know that if somebody does dry cleaning, statistically speaking, in every market, they are the top 3% income earners in that territory?
Wow.
Oh, that's awesome. If you want to do print, go put some hanging advertising on the dry cleaners where people are picking up their laundry every day. Statistically speaking, you'll target the top 3% of the market for income earners.
Nice. Good to know.
I'm going to do this big, long event for the next 2 days, and you guys are like, that was the top takeaway. I'm going to do some print advertising. Sounds like everybody got what they came for. Any question you guys are asking yourself? It's not, Grant, what do you think? It's not Mr. or Mrs. Broker, what do you think? It's not Josue and Rebecca, what do you think? It's ideal customer, what do you think? Okay? How many of you have clients like this that you've worked with in the past that you wrote down? They were your model for this. Guess what? Call and ask them all of these questions. And they will give you an even much more deep dive insight to who they are. I know that my ideal customer uses an iPhone. I know most of my ideal clients use Macs. I know most of them drink Starbucks. I know most of them like sushi and eating at good steakhouses. I know a lot about my ideal customer. I've spent the last 9 years of my life studying you, which is creepy as hell, right? Like, what?
You just got home.
But I have spent an enormous amount of time, attention, and energy researching who my ideal customer is so that I know how to connect with them. And when we get to religious views and political views and likes and dislikes, you don't have to go out there and express these things. I don't typically. But it does let you know how to communicate, which is really important. Republicans have identities. Democrats have identities. Religious people have identities. Everybody you know has a character that's driving their decision making. And when you know how to speak to the character in another human being, you know how to make a huge impact.
So about 6 years ago, 5-6 years ago, we were having so much success. Very early days of Facebook advertising and real estate. Anybody with a pulse that was generating leads was closing houses using Facebook. And all of a sudden, almost like universally across the country, leads stopped answering the phone, stopped responding to text, stopped opening emails. Did that happen to anybody else? Right? What was so fascinating is almost universally in every state across the country that we worked, everybody was experiencing that challenge. And we were like, crap. If we don't fix this, we're going to have some really serious problems on our hands because our clients rely not on our ability to generate leads, but their ability to convert deals from the leads that they are getting. So we started asking ourselves some questions like, how can we solve this problem? And we kept hearing the same thing over and over and over again. People would say, if I could just get in front of people, I can close them. Has anybody ever said that before? You guys believe that about yourselves? If I could just get in front of people, I could close them. Well, we had been implementing for some time some video marketing strategies with something called remarketing. Has anybody ever heard of what remarketing is before? Awesome. Remarketing is really simply marketing to somebody over and over and over again. And so it clicked. if we can just remarket our clients' leads with video content, then theoretically we're getting them in front of the people that they're trying to convert instantaneously. Has anybody ever bought a product from Amazon? Or, clearly. Clearly. If you go to the checkout and then you leave the cart and you forget to purchase and you go back to Facebook or you go back to Instagram, what do you see?
The same product?
Same product, saying, hey, you forgot. Yes, all of our microphones are listening to us. You can talk about new products and services and you'll start to see ads from them. But when you go to Amazon to buy a product, you click checkout and then you don't, and you start to see that product over and over and over again, that's dynamic remarketing. They're remarketing you based on your search, based on what you're clicking on, based on the actions you take. Same thing we started doing with buyers and sellers that were interested in doing business with our clients. And the results were fascinating. Across the board, 200 to 300% increase in conversion. And what's fascinating is we've started implementing this amongst top teams. Joshua Smith with GSD Mode, great friend, went from, it was 0.96 from a conversion standpoint to Facebook leads up to 1.48%. Doubled his lead conversion by, almost doubled his lead conversion simply by putting remarketing in place. Working with the Sotos, working with Gino and his team, working with a lot of people all over the world, we've been able to help them increase their conversion rates. And the only difference was video. Not just video content, but strategically placed pieces of video content that would allow you to build a relationship with your audience at scale. So when I told you guys this morning that there will be hundreds of thousands of people watch our video content today, it's not just people seeing our branded content, it's people that have clicked to learn more about Whitley that we are now remarketing to until they decide to do business with us. Some people will see those videos for a day. Some people will see them for a year. We never quit marketing to those people. We have people come in and say, Grant, I think I should shut the ads off because I'm getting too many leads. Okay. I said, okay, let's think about this. A, B, do not under any circumstances turn off your remarketing content because you're intentionally putting yourself in front of your audience every single day. How many of you have seen my content before? How many of you have seen it once and now you've seen it like every freaking day? It's just never gone away. It's happened for a long time. Do you think that's an accident? No. Paying money to make sure you see me every single day. It's the same thing that you want to do with your audience. They estimate that only 2% of people would be willing to do business with somebody the first time they met them. That means if you guys generate 100 leads this next month, 2 of those people would be willing, I didn't say will, would be willing to do business with you. 2. What are we doing for the other 98% of people that need to take their time and build a relationship with you? It's a question I have. How many of you in here read reviews before you buy products and services? Oh, fancy that, all of you. You take time to make decisions. You read reviews. You do your homework. You guys do realize you're helping people buy and sell houses. Yeah? Largest decision people will make in their lifetime. And some of us get pissed when those people aren't ready to go today. Yes? But we'll take hours to review products and services before we decide to move forward. $5, $10, $15, $20 purchases. Funny story about me, some time ago I had to buy a vitamin pill dispenser. And I hate admitting this, but I literally spent 3 weeks trying to decide which vitamin pill dispenser to buy. I know more about vitamin pill dispensers, I guarantee, than anybody in this room. I looked at the long ones, the skinny ones, the round ones. I looked at the stackable ones. My wife has these like individual day ones. 3 weeks to buy a pill dispenser or an organizer. I ended up buying the first one I ever researched. Buying a house, how much time do you think it took me? Yeah, especially in this market, because I'm not gonna
I'm not going to overpay for property. Thankfully, we stole our house. Ended up getting it like $40,000 off market instead of having to pay $40,000 over market, which was incredible. But my point is, like, people take time making these decisions, and you want to engineer systems and processes that follow up with those people so that you have a system building a relationship with people while you're focused on the people that are ready to go right now. How many of you wish you could only focus on business that was ready to go right now? How many of you will admit that's really all you do anyway? This is what most agents do. Does anybody have a team in here? Anybody get frustrated that your team doesn't convert as many leads as you wish they did? All of you are like, yep. Your agents are only focused on the business that's 0 to 60. That's it. Only focused on the business that's 0 to 60. So if you're sending them leads, you are sending them wasted dollars. Because if that lead is 60 plus, they're gone. Because the agents are only focused on right now. So what we want to do, again, is build something that's going to build a relationship with these contacts long term. And that's what video marketing does. Video content is the way that you can essentially get in front of every prospect that you generate as a lead and helps you really scale up your ability to create relationships. It's not speed to lead, it's speed to relationship. Okay, I'm sorry to disturb you guys. Really sorry. We'll be done in like 2 seconds. This right here is a group of amazing people. They've traveled from all over the US to be here for an event that we're hosting. And these people are very special. They all chipped in. So tonight we're hosting a $100 dinner club. Everybody here has tipped at least $100 to be here tonight. And some of our fans on social sent in some money as well. So tonight, this group of people is tipping a total of $2,500. We've got $1,500 for you, we've got $400 for one, and then we have $100 for everybody else. So we've tipped enough so that everybody can have some. So please, you worked so hard tonight. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys very much.
Please make sure and thank everybody here because they tipped a lot of money to make sure there's $1,500 for you. Okay.
Thank you.
Very welcome. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Yes.